our chat today called the Rising Tide Micro Course. And we talked a little bit offline about what you're going to talk about. I'm really excited, and I want our listeners to really, grab your pen and paper, hit pause if you have to, but, come right back. And I'm about to hand the professor the mic, and he's just going to give us a kind of a short synopsis. And Tom, you've got the floor. Take it away.
Well, Kevin, first, thank you. And I'll let you know all the notes, everything I talk about here. If you go back to interviewvalet.com/rising tide, everything's there. So
Great.
You don't have to take notes. Just listen to this. And the course is how to get on your first podcast. If any of this made any sense to you and it's like, I'd like to try that. Well, here's how to do it and how to avoid the mistakes. The first thing is to find the right podcast. There's over 740,000 podcasts out there. The vast majority of them aren't even active. So you don't want to be on those. The other ones may not even focus on your niche. So here's what you have to do first is find out the podcast that matters. Now, like I said, the search engines aren't great in podcasts. The analytics aren't great in podcasts. But here's the thing to look at. Who do you want to talk to? What kind of podcasts are they listening to? Bigger is not better. Bigger is just bigger. So think about it. What podcasts do you listen to? Ask some of your ideal customers what podcasts they listen to. Go to things like iTunes and search for the keywords of what your customers would be looking for. There's some great databases like Listen Notes that you can go to. Find 5 podcasts there. You don't have to find 100. Just find 5. And the first thing I want you to do is invest in that podcast. So invest in listening to the podcast, seeing if it would be a good one for you. If you listen to it and like it, leave them a 5-star rating and review. I guarantee you, every podcaster listens and looks for the reviews. They'll know who you are. Now, before I said give, ask, well, give a little bit more. So share the content on your social media. Tag the podcast host with their name. We're all vain. We all listen for our own name, right? Do some of those things. Then after you've earned the right to reach out to them, then reach out and say, hey, I have listened to the podcast. I really liked this. I think I have some information that could be of value to your audience, right? It's give, ask. You don't want to say, I've got a new book coming out and I would like to leverage and abuse your audience so I can sell more books. This is not what it is. It's not supposed to be an infomercial. It's supposed to be helping. So reach out to the podcast host with that spirit. When you do that, you want to focus on what's in it for them, that you're adding value, that you want to serve, and then figure out how to connect with them. Some people are on email, some people are on social media. Find where they are and start that discussion, start that relationship. If you'll do that, you will have more success than ever. And I'll tell you what, podcasters know podcasters. So if you do a good job on the podcast and at the end you say, I really enjoyed this. You know any other shows that I could add value to? If they introduce you to 2 friends and so on, your dance card will be filled. Now, we do this all for our clients also, but it's something that you can do. And with this, I said there's a checklist of that I'll provide back there at interviewvalet.com/rising tide. And there's also a free copy of my book, Podcast Guest Profits, How to Grow Your Business with a Targeted Interview Strategy. Everything we do, it's not a secret. It's not magic. It's just a system. It's like a cookbook, right? You can do it at home or you can have somebody else do it. But let me tell you a story now of how not to do it. There's first, do no harm. Well, I get pitched probably 2 or 3 times a day to be on my podcast. And Kevin, every pitch starts out the same way. Tom, we love your podcast and would like to be a guest on it. And then they go on of what they're all about. The problem is Kevin, I've been on over 1,200 podcast interviews. I don't have my own podcast. If you're going to lie to me, don't tell me you love my podcast. Tell me I'm young or look pretty or whatever it is. So with that, it's just like if they're trying to build a relationship, don't build a relationship off a lie on the first thing. I've shared some of the pitches to other podcasters, and they just laugh. And if you get known in the podcasting industry that is someone that's inauthentic, a liar, somebody that's just trying to use and abuse the medium, you will never get on podcasts. But if you come there with that attitude of give, you'll be asked to be on podcasts.
What's the old adage that says it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and a minute to destroy one?
Well, I think it's
something like that.
It is, but I think the internet is speeding everything up, right? It takes maybe a year to build a relationship online, but it could be a second to destroy it when all of a sudden does a screen capture, puts it out there, and it gets shared amongst the community.